What people don't realize is we all have this inner voice that's like a jackass. And it's always telling us, we can't do this, we can't do this, we can't do this. And suddenly when you decide to break out in your own business, that voice is overwhelming. And so what we tend to do is we tend to slide away from that voice into what we're most comfortable with. If you're a plumber that decides to open a plumbing business, your safe comfort zone is under a sink fixing pipes. And so that's where you end up spending your time. And unfortunately, there's so many hats you have to wear. And the major ones are you not only have to be a plumber, a technician, but you also have to be a manager. You got to manage your resources. And you also have to be an entrepreneur. You got to think about the long term. You got to think about the big picture. You have to think about where you're going. And unfortunately, those three personas have different goals, different agendas, and different ways of making decisions. The technician just wants to do the work. The manager wants to protect and conserve and make sure that they can pay the bills and all that kind of stuff. And the entrepreneur needs to be a risk taker. He's got to be able to do those things that are out there that you need to do to grow. So unless you can find yourself as a business owner wearing that third hat more often, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle and you're going to limit what you're capable of doing. So right out of the box, flush number one, I wanted to really plant that seed that this whole book, the next 39 flushes, are all about things you need to think about while wearing the entrepreneur hat.
And I will add an addendum here. So people are getting some of my thousands of dollars an hour value add, which is when you're hiring employees, I at least have always used the strong filter. If I go away on vacation for 2 weeks and choose never to call in, can this person actually handle the job by themselves?
Absolutely.
It's amazing the number of entrepreneurs I know who, like, I go fishing with them and they're on the phone 7 times a day telling just absolutely minor direction to their people. I go, you have hired the wrong person, right? I would fire anybody I had to be on the phone with once a day, let alone 7 times a day. Hire people who are self-guided misses.
Hey, Jim, it's funny you say that because that's one of the hardest lessons I ever had to learn way before I went into business on my own. I was a television news director for a while, so I managed a news department and was selected to be a Nealon Fellow, which is a fellowship for news directors that were trying to get back to more of the important journalism, away from the bleeds it leads kind of stuff. And one of my assignments one time was to come up with something I wish I could fix about my newsroom. And what I wanted to fix was I wanted to have my staff be better decision makers, to make more decisions. And what I found out from that process was I wasn't allowing them to grow as decision makers because I was making all the decisions. And so I think so many business owners go through that same process that they want their people to be independent, but they don't give them the freedom to do so and to grow. They want them making great decisions from day one, and you have to learn to be a good decision maker.
And it means you got to accept some mistakes, right?
You got to accept the mistakes. And you also have to recognize there's multiple right ways of doing something.
Exactly. And to your point, you have to get out of that box if you're going to grow. So maybe the boss can make a better decision slightly more often than his subordinates that he's given a lot of authority to. But if he has 5 subordinates, I guarantee you they're going to get a lot more done than he can, than if he has to make all the decisions. So you accept a little bit of noise. And frankly, some of those people will probably turn out to be better in their domains than you would be.
Yeah, that's a hard truth that you have to learn to live with because our ego gets in the way so often.